Hello, good morning student. Today my video of class 9 mathematics. We will start a new lesson 5, Introduction to Euclid Geometry. It's a very interesting lesson in this lesson we will study what is geometry, what are the different concepts of geometry, what are the different sense of geometry by the different mathematicians. All things we have to study here. So let's start lesson 5 of NCERT book, Introduction to Euclid Geometry. Introduction of Euclid Geometry. Okay, student. Before going to start this lesson, we have to define geometry. What is geometry? So, for that, look here. I am going to write here the very simple definition of geometry. The branch of mathematics. The branch of mathematics that deals about different figures like point, line segment, angle, triangle, quadrilateral, circle, etc. and their interrelationship is called geometry. Okay, students, the branch of mathematics that deals about different figures like point, line segment, angle, triangle, quadrilateral, circle, etc. and their interrelationship. What is the relationship between them is known as geometry. Actually, students, geometry is made from a Greek word geo and metron. Geometry is made up of Greek word. It is made of two Greek words that are geo and metron. The meaning of geo means earth and metron means measurement. Okay. So this branch of mathematics was started by Egyptians for measuring the land, for finding the volume of their godowns, etc. But what is the necessity of measuring of land? What is the necessity? What it is very necessary for them to measure the land? Actually, students, Egypt is situated near the Nile River, and in ancient times, when the Nile River was overflowed, then it wiped out all the boundaries of the fields that are situated near the Nile River. Now, the farmers again have to redraw their boundaries. So they had thought that if they have not idea how to measure the land, then how could they fix their boundary? For that, they had started to measuring the lands, and from there the branch of this mathematics had originated. Okay. Now the knowledge of geometry had reached from Egypt to Greece. It was a great contribution of the great mathematician in the field of geometry whose name is Thales. One of the great mathematician who has given a lot about geometry. He was the first person who had given proof in geometry. that the diameter of circle, what is this proof? The diameter of circle divides in two equal halves. Divides it in two equal halves. Now it is very easy to listen. But the first proof was given by this person Thales, who belongs to Greek. Okay, students. Now, one of the most dear and what you can say favorite disciple of Greek Thales was Pythagoras. He had also opened a school in which this subject will taught. Okay. He also actually in starting Thales was not a mathematician. In starting he was a merchant. And in his business he had earned a lot. In starting he was a merchant, and in his business he had earned a lot. But when in a visit of Egypt, he has seen the different types of figures in Egypt, he had thought that we have to also improve our knowledge in this field. And after that, he has started to improving his knowledge in the field of geometry. As I told you, one of his most favorite disciple was Pythagoras, who had opened a school in Greece in which this branch of mathematics had been taught. Okay, now we have to discuss about also what is the role of Egyptian in the field of geometry. But before I have to clear it, Miletus, a town of Greece, Miletus. He belongs to Miletus. Now students, I am going to clean it. So students, this was the role of Greek persons in the field of geometry. Now we have to discuss what are the contributions of the Egyptian in the field of geometry. The great contribution of Egyptian in the field of geometry was that the one of the math teacher of Egypt, that name is Euclid. In beginning, Euclid was the math teacher, and he belongs to a town of Egypt that his name is Alexandria. A town of Egypt. There was a great contribution of Euclid in the field of maths. He had told what is geometry, how we will study it, and due to this, and he was the first person who has written a book whose name is The Elements. Means he was the first person who has written a book related to geometry. So he is known as, due to this contribution, Euclid was known as father of geometry. Why is known as father of geometry? Because he was the first person who had written a book in the field of geometry. Nobody else before him had done such type of effort. Okay. Now in this book, the Elements book, there are 13 parts. Total 13 parts. But all parts are not written by Euclid. Only the 13th part was written by Euclid. So now this was the history of geometry. What was the role of Egyptian in the field of geometry? What was the role of Greece peoples in the field of geometry? Now students, in my next video I will share you what are the different forms of geometry. What is axiom, what is corollary, what is theorem, what are the different postulates of Euclid, what are the different axioms of the Euclid. This all we have to discuss in our next video. Okay, so this is the history of geometry that you have. Being a student of geometry, you must remember it, that what is the history of geometry, from where the geometry originated, what is the definition of geometry. These all things you have to remember here. Okay students, thank you.